something that will be steady. Hold. Won't fall. There, that might be better. There.
Perfect. All right. Okay. So I came with some some prepared questions.
Okay.
But
sure.
I kind of like to just go with the flow.
Okay.
Good. And I kind of like to just start off by asking you, what is it like to be 80?
Well, I'm not 80 yet.
You're not?
I'll be 80 in July.
Oh, I don't mean to rush it. I don't. We'll take our time. What's it like to be 79 and a half?
It's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fine with me. I don't feel that much different actually.
How do you feel? How old do you feel?
I don't know. I mean, I still pretty much like to do the same things I've always liked to do. Except my memory might be not quite as sharp as it used to, because I do forget things now and then. I think that it concerns Adrian more than it does me. But no, I don't. As long as I feel good, that's fine. You know, if I can just go on with my life and do some of the things that I like to do.
Sure.
That's what I want to do.
So you feel physically well?
Yeah, so far so good.
Yeah. And tell me a little bit about your memory loss. What is that like for you?
Well, that's a little bit upsetting to me because I've always had a fantastic memory. And to not quite remember things, you know, when I want to, that bothers me a bit. But other than that, you know, it's just for the moment I'll say, oh gosh, what's such and such's name? Like I was listening to something on my iPod and I couldn't remember his name, and he sings with Barbara Streisand. And
Neil Diamond?
Neil Diamond.
There you go.
And
see?
I couldn't.
Of course,
I'm
I do that all the
along,
time.
See, I walk. I try to walk as much as I can. So I put my iPod on, and Adrian and Micah set up this new iPod for me because my other one had died. And so they put Neil Diamond on there. I had Barbara Streisand. Neil. I said, what the heck is his name? I can't remember it. And then so I asked her.
Right.
And so I said, and I think he's Jewish, which he is, I think. And so she says, oh, Neil Diamond. I said, yeah, that's who it is. And I couldn't remember his name. Things like that bother me a little bit. But other than that, I don't, you know, I don't sit and worry about it. I figure it's something that happens, and if it happens, it happens. I still want to be able to do some of the things I like to do.
Right.
I like to travel. I like to go to plays. I like to shop. You know, I like to do lots of things.
Is there anything you really like to do that you can't do anymore, or you find yourself not doing?
No, not too much. No. I've never been overly athletic. I walk. I try to walk as much as I can. I like walking, and it's good exercise.
Where do you walk? Just around?
Yeah, I try to walk about a half hour, so I get in, maybe a mile, mile and a half.
What's a day like for you?
Some days it's pretty dull. Other days it's okay.
Yeah.
In fact, Adrian and I, we looked at a place today. It's for seniors. It was nice. It was actually quite nice, and we're going to look at another place. She thinks I should be in a place where I do have more activity, because sometimes it gets a little dull and boring for me.
How do you feel about that? Is that like a, you know, oh, I don't want to be in a senior center?
Mixed emotion a little bit. Actually, this place we went to was quite nice, and we had lunch, and the people there were very nice. I don't know. It's hard for me because I like doing things. Like I said, I love to travel. If somebody said, come on, let's go to, like my niece mentions Greece. We've been to Italy, we've been to Paris. So she says, come on, let's go to Greece next week or 2 weeks. So I say, okay, pack my bags, I'm ready to go. That's something I enjoy doing a lot of, because you see things. Are you watching that?
Yeah.
Oh. You see things that you might not see anyplace else. It's just interesting, and you meet interesting people.
Did you travel much when you were younger? Have you traveled throughout your life?
When I, after I worked for the Connecticut Department of Revenue Services, I got to travel around the country a bit because I was an auditor, and so we got to go. We audited companies that did business in the state of Connecticut for sales tax.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be a company out in California, it could be a company in Chicago, or those are places I've been to. We did a lot of audits in Boston.
You get to travel on someone else's dime.
Right, yeah. But we worked. I mean, we didn't really fool around. It was
Right.
fun. We had time to go to a new place. I mean, if we went to this place, usually we traveled in pairs because if something happened to one of us, someone else would
Sure.
be there too. So we would leave on a Saturday, so we'd have a weekend to do some sightseeing, which was nice.
Right.
Yeah, that was. But then come Monday, we really worked our tails off.
Right.
And then by the time Friday rolled around, I was ready to come home.
Sure.
You know.
Now, let me ask you this: you're talking about the senior center?
Right.
What do you like to be called? When we refer to, a lot of these questions are going to be questions that people want to know but would never ask.
Yeah.
Right.
You mean my name?
No.
Oh.
What do you like to be called as far as your age? There's elderly, there's senior, do you like any of them?
I don't know. I don't. In all honesty, I don't feel that old. I know. I look at other people. I say, "Gee, do I look that old?" Seriously, I do. I mean, I don't discuss this with other people, but I don't really feel that old. I mean,
Sure.
there's still lots of things I would like to do if I had somebody to. I won't go travel by myself or do some of these things by myself, but
Why is that?
I don't know. I don't think I feel comfortable. Although one of my cousins, I guess we're travelers in my family. One of my cousins traveled all over the world, and she used to travel by herself and loved it. I mean, she traveled with a group, but she traveled alone in that group. I don't know. I've never tried that.
Sure.
I don't know if I'd like that. I think I'd like to go with somebody I know. Now, my niece and I have traveled together. We travel well together.
Mm.
But I don't know. I've never. I don't know if I'd want to
Just
go.
haven't done it.
No, I've never done that.
Sure. So you said you don't feel 80. You look around at other people and do I look that old? But you can't tell me what age you feel like 50, 60, 18.
No, I don't think I feel
You don't feel
18.
18. So we're narrowing it down a
Right.
little bit.
I guess. Well, I feel maybe I'm in my, say in my 50s on up.
Mm-hmm.
I think what makes me feel older, maybe I think a little differently than when I was young. I mean, when you're young, you just think differently. And I had other responsibilities, and I don't have those responsibilities anymore.
Sure. How do you think differently?
I don't know. I mean, I don't have to worry about a lot of things. I mean, when I raised Adrian, I actually raised her by myself because my husband died when she was 3.5 years old.
Oh wow, how old were you?
I was in my early 40s. Let's see, how old was she? How old was I when she was born? Like 30. It's like 37, 38, somewhere around there. Let's see, she's 42. So, so I must have been about 38.
38. And how old was your husband when he passed?
He was a couple of years younger than I was, so he's about 30. Let's see. Yeah, I think he was about 37.
37. Are you able to talk about that? Is that a comfortable subject for you? Or?
Yeah, he was sick, and he went down, pretty quickly. So
It was a fast thing.
yeah, well, he had. Oh gosh, see, this is where my
Yeah.
memory. What was it called? He had a colostomy. Oh gosh, I can't think of. ulcerative colitis.
Oh, ulcerative colitis,
Yeah,
sure.
that's what he.
Sure.
And I didn't realize, when we got married, I didn't realize that how bad this had gotten.
Mm-hmm.
And so we weren't married that long, actually, about 5 years, 6 years. Yeah, like I say, Adrian was only like 3.5.
Wow.
So.
And you were never remarried?
No, not after that. I had been married once before.
Oh, before.
When I was young, very young, when I was 19, I was married for about 8 years.
8 years?
Yeah, and I got a divorce.
Yeah, just wasn't working out.
No.
Yeah.
No.
So, I want to talk about your divorce in a second. But I want to get back to your husband. What was that like to lose a husband and have a 3.5-year-old, and you're only 40?
That was pretty bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, Yeah, that was pretty tough. Luckily, my family, we lived in Massachusetts then because my husband was from the Boston area, so we lived in Massachusetts. And Adrian was born in Boston. But then after he passed away, I moved back to Connecticut because that's where my family, that's
Sure.
where I'm from. And yeah, it was pretty difficult.
Mm-hmm.
And then so it was difficult too at that time. And I remember I was going to go back to work full time, but Adrian was so young. She was only 3.5. And when I went to check out my Social Security benefits, he advised me. He says, your daughter's so young. He said, if I were you, I'd just go back to work part-time and collect on your husband's
Right.
Social Security. And I thought, well, maybe that's not a bad idea because at that time they didn't have daycare centers for children. They had nothing.
Yeah, fend for yourself.
The only thing they had, and thank goodness my brother knew this woman. She had one of these, what did they call them? They weren't daycare schools. They were like fancy, gosh, I forget what they call them. It was like a daycare, but it was a fancy one.
Almost like a spa for kids.
Yeah, like a little, nursery school.
Oh,
That's
right.
what they called
Sure.
them, nursery schools. And, I mean, she had a beautiful nursery school. My brother knew this woman, and thank goodness for that. So she was very nice to me, and because she knew my brother so well, so she gave me a special price, and I could send Adrian there to nursery school.
Good to know people.
I know, and she
Takes
was,
a village.
yeah, she was very nice, and it was really a nice place, so I was happy about that. But then when Adrian was about 6 years old, the daycares came into being, and they were, less expensive. And although this woman was very nice to me, I mean, she didn't charge me the regular rate because she had doctors' children there,
Right.
lawyers' children, very nice, well-heeled people.
A good clientele.
Yes,
Right.
but then
So Adrian never knew your husband or her father.
not really. I mean,
She doesn't
because
remember him probably.
well, she remembers bits and pieces, but I don't think she remembers too much about him. And he simply adored her. He loved kids.
Yeah.
And she's a lot like, she looks like him, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's tall. He was tall.
What was your relationship with him like?
It was good. We had a good relationship.
Yeah.
And it was, it's just so bad. It got pretty bad when he, got so ill. It was just hard because it was difficult for us at that time. It was difficult financially. And it was just a hard time.
Yeah.
And his family, I have to say, they just weren't very understanding in a lot of ways. You'd think they'd be a little bit more sympathetic toward me, and no, there was no. That's why I haven't had a relationship with them for a very long time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And
Just-
Adrian as well.
Yeah. Right. I mean, there's.
So let me ask you. You were about 40, and he passed away. What were your views? What were your views on death prior to him passing, and then after he passed?
I don't know. I didn't really think much about it, to tell you the truth. And after he passed away, I was so busy trying to get my life back together that I really didn't stop and think about it.
There was no time.
No, I mean, here I had a daughter to take care of, and so I worked. In fact, like I said, the man at Social Security suggested I work part-time because my daughter was so young. I was going to go back to work full-time, but I went back to work part-time. And that worked out pretty well. And then there reached a point where I realized that they were giving me raises, and then I started making too much money.
Oh, right. And then
as far as Social Security goes. So I thought I might as well go to work full-time.
Yeah, it's so
it's ridiculous.
It's
you know,
it's
they want to help you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not the people who work at Social Security. It's
Yeah.
just the rules and regulations.
It's
so
kind of mind-boggling.
It is. And then I thought, well, I've got to go back to work full-time. And see, how old was Adrian? I forget. I worked at Yale for about 4.5, 5 years. It was a nice job. It's a great place to work.
What did you do?
Just clerical
Like,
work.
do you have a career that you consider that you had?
At that time, no, it was almost like a bookkeeping, typing job. That's why I went into accounting when I went back to school. I got my degree in accounting. But, it was just an office job, and I worked part-time, and it was a great place to work. I mean, their benefits are phenomenal. You get 30 days vacation.
Yeah.
You get all this sick leave time. I mean, it's really wonderful. It's a very nice atmosphere, and my boss was very nice. So it was a nice place to work, but they don't pay a tremendous amount of money.
Right.
Well, because it's a university, you know, even though they charge
tuition
through the wazoo, but
you'd think that
but
they'd
that
pay more with the money that
they I think their professors get paid well, but but their benefits, otherwise their benefits are good, nice, but and their health benefits too are nice, but then I worked there for about 4.5 years, and they kept giving me raises, and then I was going to reach a point where I have to go to work full-time, otherwise it's going to affect my benefit from Social Security. So that's what I did. I went to work full-time after that.
So what was it like being a single parent?
Busy.
Adrian was a handful?
Well, not so much when she was young, as she got older. But I wanted her to have some of the things that I thought were important. So she took dancing lessons, and then I sent her, as she got old, I sent her to Hebrew school because I wanted her to have a bas mitzvah, which she did. Let's see. Yeah, and dancing was a big thing because she took dancing. She's a very good dancer. She took dancing lessons for about 13 years until she graduated from high school. Yeah.
So you said you wanted her to experience important things.
Yeah.
Tell me more about that.
Well, she's a very ever since she was a child, very social. You know, she's very outgoing. She's very social, and I just wanted her to enjoy whatever I thought was important to her and to me, you know, and I think she did. You know, as I said, she loved to dance, and she still likes to dance. As I said, I thought it would be nice to send her to Hebrew school, which I did, and she seemed to like that, and the kids, you know. So I just wanted her to have a nice time growing up.
Sure. Do you have anything that you wish you did?
That
when
I
you
wish?
were her? Yeah, that you regret?
With her?
No, with you yourself. And with her. Either or both. Like, do you wish you took dancing lessons?
Well, I took piano lessons, because I play the piano. I play the guitar now, too. What I really wanted to do, but my father, first of all, he probably couldn't afford it. I wanted to go to Yale School of Music. and my piano teacher was preparing me. And the entrance exam is quite rigid, and I think I might have been able to get in. But I had nobody to advise me. It's very expensive. I didn't know whether I could get a scholarship or not, but what I should have done was to try. But I had nobody to advise me. When I said to my father, when I wanted to go to when I wanted to go to college, and that time it was a teacher's college, which I really didn't want to go, but I wanted to go to college. And it was only $35 a semester. And he said to me, "Why do you want to do that? You're going to end up in the kitchen anyway." That was my father's attitude.
Sure. Well, he was born...
He was born in Estonia.
Yeah,
when he was
what year was he born?
1890.
Yeah, the times have changed
Life
a
was
little bit.
entirely different.
Yeah, most women did end up in the kitchen.
I mean, when they got married, my mother was 19 years old, so...
Sure. Did you,
So I resented that, and as I said, my piano teacher was preparing me for the Yale School of Music. She knew the dean, but I didn't have anybody to advise me. What
Sure.
I should have done was to take the entrance exam to see if I could pass, and if I were any good, maybe I could have gotten some kind of scholarship. But when my father sort of, when he told me that, I thought, there's no way I'm going to go.
What was your relationship with your parents?
There really wasn't much of a relationship there. My father, we were miles up. I'm the youngest of 5 children.
Oh, you have 4 other brothers and sisters?
Yeah. By the time I was born, I don't think they wanted any more children. He was 42 years old.
They had
I
enough.
was born.
Yeah.
So.
It's like, we'll keep this one, but
Yeah, but hey, what the heck, But
the same with your mom as well.
No, my mother was a nice person. She's very quiet, but whatever my father said in those days, they ruled the roost.
Mm.
I mean, if I had a husband like that,
Right.
would have punched him out.
Right.
He would have got an argument from me, that's for sure. But
What is your relationship with Adrian compared to your relationship with your parents?
Oh, well, I think Adrian and I had a much different relationship. First of all, I always wanted the best for her. I always wanted to give her as much as I possibly could, because I just wanted her to have what I thought was important. And I think now we have a good relationship. Mm-hmm. And I love my grandchildren. They're great kids.
Yeah.
Have you
No.
met them?
Yeah.
Oh, they're great kids. Yeah.
So, do you? What's I've got like 3 questions trying to come out of my mouth right now. Let's talk about siblings. So you said you have 4 brothers and sisters.
Yeah, I had 3 brothers and a sister.
And Adrian is an only child.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Was that by design? Was it because your husband passed?
Probably. She was only 3 and a half when he died. So yeah, I don't know whether I was getting older too. So I don't know. I was a couple of years older than my husband. I don't know whether we would have had any more children. Maybe, a possibility, but maybe not.
And do you ever, I don't know if the word is regret or judge or wonder what it's like for her as an only child as opposed to you having so many siblings?
Well, I think she had missed having a brother or sister. She said she'd never have just one child. Mm-hmm. And I think that's because I think she missed having a sibling, yeah.
Right. What's your relationship with your siblings?
I'm close to my brother, who's next in line. 2 of my older brothers passed away. My sister, I don't even know where she is now.
Really?
I don't even know.
And you said you're the baby, so she's older than you.
She's 12 years older than
So
I.
she's...
She's about
91 and a half.
Yeah.
What made you lose touch?
Let's see. She, her daughter moved. I keep in touch with my brother who lives in Albuquerque. He's a retired school teacher. He and I are pretty close. We've always been. He's 5 years older than I, and he and I have always been. We think more alike.
Of the four, he was your bond?
Yeah. And he taught me how to read when I was 4 years old. So he had the school teacher in him even then.
Right, yep.
Yeah, and I know we've always kept in touch. In fact, I have to call him soon. I never really, I guess since my sister is 12 years old, we've never really been that close. We don't think alike at all. And I think when you come from a large family, that happens.
And it's a huge age difference.
There is,
That's a big age difference. But
he and I think fairly much. He likes to travel like I do, and he and I think have stayed in touch, and we're the closest. I think we think more alike than the others. Even with him and my older sister, they don't think that much alike. So
let me ask you about religion. You said that you wanted Adrian to go to Hebrew school and be Bas Mitzvah. What, as you were growing up, were you brought up religiously?
Well, yes. Well, my mother kept a kosher house, and we went to synagogue on the holidays, but that's about it.
Right.
In those days, girls didn't have bas mitzvahs. So, it's a funny thing that I wanted to go to Hebrew school when I was young. I don't know why. It just sort of fascinated me. But I never went to Hebrew school. Yeah.
So what views have, as far as your religious views, have they changed throughout the years? Like, do you believe in God?
Oh, I think so. Yeah, I don't think I'm a fanatic about religion. I mean, I believe I am what I am, and I don't think I would ever change my religion. Unfortunately, I would have liked to have joined the synagogue here, but I don't like driving that much, and I don't know where the synagogues are, and so I've never.
Tell me about your driving. Do you still drive?
Yeah,
You're
but
comfortable with it?
As far as I drive, which isn't that far.
To the mailbox down at the end of the street here.
No, I just I wouldn't drive into Atlanta, to tell you the truth. I'm just not that comfortable about driving. I used to drive on my job. The last job I had, I used to drive.
Right.
And I was okay with that. But, no, I don't do much driving anymore. I mean, especially as I've gotten older, I don't drive that much. And I don't know I know Smyrna a little bit, but other than that, that's what I complain about. I don't go here, I don't go there, because I don't drive that much.
No, it's tough. This is not a city it's not, like New York or Boston where you can just hop on mass transit.
Or even, like in New York, I went up to Connecticut in October, at the end of October. So my niece and Adrian got tickets for me to see a Broadway show. The two of us, my niece and I went into New York, and we had a great time. We saw a show, we had lunch, and you do a lot of walking in New York. So that's fine, that's fine with me. I don't mind that.
Yeah.
And it's funny, New York is as big as it is, and so many people, you could find your way around pretty well.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
pretty blocky.
That was great. But here it's driving.
What made you move here?
Because after my grandson was born, I thought
had no choice.
Had to
come down.
Yeah, I was retired, and I thought that's where I should be.
Right.
Yeah, and the kids are great. They're cute kids. They're nice kids too.
All right. So you mentioned an iPod.
Yeah.
Tell me about your technology, like what kind of technology you use, and then tell me what it's been like for you throughout your 79 and a half years to see what the technology has done.
It's 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 gone tremendously. I mean, so quickly. Everything now, I think, is so quick. Gosh, we didn't have television. See, I was television, I think, came into being long before it came out in the public. But I was about 16 years old when we got a television set. So.
What was that like when you got it?
Oh, it was great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Milton Berle. That was great.
You had, what, 2 channels, 3 channels to choose from as opposed to the
But
5?
actually, some of those programs were pretty good.
Yeah.
As compared to some of the garbage they show on TV now.
Do you have cable?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do.
Do you watch television?
You know what? I watch movies sometimes. Some of the shows on TV are so bad. I can't waste my time. I'll watch Jeopardy. I just happen to like Jeopardy. And I'll watch the news. That's the way my weekday usually runs. I'll watch the news maybe for about an hour. Then I watch Jeopardy. And if then I go to scroll through the channels to see what's on.
Right.
If there's an old movie that I might want to watch or something that strikes me.
So you're pretty connected to the news and what's going on in the world?
A little bit, yeah.
What do you see as the biggest change in the world?
Gee, I don't know. I'd like to see everybody get along together, and stop this fighting and bickering. And every time you turn on the news now, it's with Syria again, and what was it? Oh, Iran's going to be a problem, with this oil situation and this and that. Gosh, why can't we get along?
Yeah. Do you see a common thread between it all? Like, do you look and go, wow, if we could just...
I think I get the feeling that some of these, like the Ahmadinejad, Iran, I see him. He's one of these little guys who wants to be known, be seen. I thought, what is wrong with people? Why can't they just learn to get along? And right away he says, I don't recognize Israel. I thought, what?
Yeah.
Why? What is it? See, that's what I don't understand. Why can't they just get along?
A lot of it is religion.
It sounds that way.
As a person who's is religious and raised their kids religious, how do you reconcile that?
Well, what do you mean? How do I?
Well, like, does it bother you? Do you look at like certain religions as, why are they behaving this way? This is not what religion is supposed to be. This is not...
Well, that's true. It isn't. I don't think it is what religion should be. I mean, we should all learn to get along. That's... I'm not overly religious, but I think the most important thing is learning to get along with one another. And until we do that, there's always going to be some kind of strife going on in the world. And why? I don't understand. Why do people want to kill people? I mean, just like... with Hitler, I think back sometimes, why? What did the Jews ever do to him? Evidently something must have happened along the way that somebody, some Jewish person might have done something to him. So all of a sudden, he just hates all the Jews.
What was that like for you watching the...
Oh, that was, I think that was pretty bad. Yeah. I mean,
How old you were?
When the war broke out? See, I was about 1941 for us, so I would have been about 9. Yeah, I was about 9 years old. 2 of my brothers, my 2 older brothers, were in this. They went into the Second World War. They didn't fight, though. Like they weren't up, in the front lines, but they served in the army during the Second World War.
What's the most significant thing that's taken place in your lifetime, history-wise or news-wise?
Gee, I don't know. Probably a lot of things. I suppose maybe putting a man on the moon. Maybe that would probably be a big issue. Yeah.
Do you remember where you were when JFK got shot?
Trying to think. Not exactly. exactly. No. I know where I was living, but I don't know where I was, you know, at that time, that exact time that he got shot. No, I think it wasn't it in November? Or, I can't even remember exactly the
Yeah, I
time.
can't remember the
The
date
time,
myself.
yeah, when he got shot. Well, that was a horrible thing, I thought. Yeah. I think it was in sometime in that period of time in November, if I'm not mistaken.
All right, so if I were to ask you what you know now that you wish you knew then, what would it be?
You mean when you
Like
say
going back
then?
to when you were younger, things that you know, the wisdom that's come along in your lifetime.
What what I wish I would have known then?
Yeah.
What I know now? Mm. Gee, maybe to be a little bit more tolerant of people. I don't know. I've always been fairly tolerant of people. I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah, and you might not have answers to some of them. That's
I'm
fine.
just thinking. I don't know. I think what I do wish is that people would learn to get along and live nicely in the world, and there wouldn't be any poverty. That would be a wonderful thing, you know. If people could all learn to get along and no poverty.
Those are good answers.
Yeah.
That's what they always say at the Miss America pageants, right?
That's right.
I shall now crown you. So let's reverse that.
Okay.
And tell me what you didn't know then that you know now that you wish you didn't.
What I know now that I wish I didn't.
Yeah, you didn't know it back then.
Yeah.
You know it now.
Yeah.
You wish you didn't.
Didn't know it.
Didn't know it.
Gee, I don't know. That's a tough one. I didn't know.
Oh, they get tougher from here.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Gee, I don't know. I don't know.
No, that's fine. That's fine. So you got an iPod. You got a television.
Yeah.
What other technology? Do you have email, computer?
I used to know. In fact, I used to use a computer on my job.
Mm-hmm.
But that was one of those old wangs.
Mm.
It's not like.
Yeah. Changed a little bit.
Just a bit. I think my grandson knows more about the computer now than I do. I don't know. I don't know. You know, I guess I think the thing is with the computer and all this technology, people aren't as connected, I don't think.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is, you know, I see them walking along, playing with, and I thought, they're not connected with people as much.
Right.
And I think that's too bad.
Mm-hmm.
I really do. I think people are more important than playing with your computer or iPod, whatever the heck.
Right, whatever you're doing.
Yeah, I think that's why I decided not to have a computer in the house. I could have gotten a computer. I could still get a computer if I wanted to. But I just don't want to sit in front of a computer. That happened to one of my friends. Her husband retired. He was in the fire department in Connecticut. Retired, and he'd sit in front of that computer morning, noon, and night.
Mm-hmm.
I said, gee, when I retire, I'm sure not going to do that. That's something there's more to life
Sure.
than sitting in front of a computer all
Have you ever
the
heard
time.
of Facebook?
Oh, yeah.
You know what it is?
It's...
I mean, yeah, you've heard of it, but
Yeah.
do you understand how it works or what it's designed for?
I don't know how it works exactly, yeah, but, no, well, I don't know that much about it, but I know they put information on Facebook, yeah.
Yeah. This is a whole social media thing. I was
Right.
just curious if you had. I mean, I think it goes to what you said a second ago that it disconnects people
It does.
face to face. Like
And
the
I think-
conversation that you and I are having doesn't take place anymore. It's
No, I think that's sad.
Hmm.
I really do, yeah. And it's too bad. Yeah, you see people walking along with this. I thought, for gosh sakes, have a conversation. Look at somebody in the eye. They don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of sad. Yeah. So,
What's your biggest accomplishment?
oh, probably my daughter.
I thought you were going to say that.
Yeah, yeah. She turned out to be a pretty good person. And I think that's important. Yeah.
And your grandkids, I think you like
great.
them a little bit?
Oh, just a bit.
Yeah? What was that like becoming a grandmother?
Oh, gosh. I remember when Adrian and Micah brought Xander, well, I was here. No, when he was born, I came down. I wasn't living here yet, but I said, oh, yeah, that's where I have to go, to see them. And then after, I don't know, soon after that, I was retired, so I decided to move down here. Oh, yeah, that was nice, yeah. They're good kids. They're great kids. And I have to say they're doing a great job.
That's
Both
good.
of them, yeah.
Good. You close with your son-in-law?
Yeah,
Yeah.
He's a nice person, yeah.
Any beliefs that you had in the past or throughout your life that you don't believe anymore? You thought that's the way it was, and now you realize it wasn't?
I don't know. No, I don't think so. Trying to think. No, I probably not.
You believed it then, you believe it now.
Probably.
Perfect. What would you pass on to your grandkids if you had to share one thing with them? What would it be?
Probably, be kind and nice to each other, and I think it'd be a great world if everybody treated people nicely, and on an even keel, an even basis. Yeah, and just be nice to each other and treat people nicely. I think that's really the most important thing.
So how would you describe your life in one sentence?
Interesting.
Well, you narrowed it down to one word. Good for you.
It's been good. I haven't done some of the things I would have liked to have done.
You have a bucket list?
No, well, I would have liked to have done more with my music, which I didn't do. And I think the only thing that I would like to do more of now is travel more, and that's about it. Yeah, pretty simple.
Okay, yeah, we just need to get you in the car and get you going, get you traveling. So, let's see here. Are you afraid of getting older?
No, that's. I don't think it's. I don't know if you'd say afraid. I think of. I know eventually, my life will come to an end, but and I think that's. I don't look forward to that. Getting older, no. I think first of all, as you get older and you lived longer and you've seen what goes on in the world, it makes you a little wiser. Maybe you act a little differently. I just would like to be able to do a few more things that I, like travel to different places and. Yeah, know, that's sort of hard
Yeah.
to pin down.
Do you fear? Do you fear death? Do you fear knowing that your days behind you are more than your days ahead of you?
I don't, to tell you the truth, I try not to dwell on it. I just feel it's going to happen to everybody, and
That is the plan.
yeah, and there's nothing we can do
Right.
to stop that. So to try to take care of myself the best way I know how, and to live as long as I can, you know, and that's it. I don't know what more, you know, people can do to live longer, unless we could take some sort of youth drug. I don't know if that'll help.
Yeah, they've been looking for that for a while.
I think they're going to keep looking for it.
They will. Guarantee it.
But, and maybe in the future they'll find it. But, I mean, I don't know if it would ever be a good idea to live forever. I can't.
You think there's a good thing to have a finality to?
I think so, in a sense. Yeah, I think so.
Why?
Maybe we accomplish more. I think if we all sat around and said, "Oh, we're going to live forever."
Yeah, I'll do it tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll get around to it.
Nothing will ever be accomplished.
Right.
So maybe in that respect. So by knowing that you're going to live a certain amount of years, that you want to accomplish as much as you can in your lifetime and do what you feel is good, the right thing, or whatever.
Do you think the world is better now, or is better then?
Gee, I don't know. When you say then, you mean when I was young?
Yeah, as you were growing up. Like when you first became aware of the world.
Yeah. I would say it's probably better now, although, you know, we still have lots of problems. Yeah, I would say it's probably better now. I think hopefully more people are more intelligent in the way they're handling, you know, the leaders. I mean, you still have some idiots out there, but I think maybe most leaders are trying to handle the world situation in a positive way, whereas it seems like some of these leaders that, like Hitler and Mussolini and some, they were out of control. They were totally out of control.
Right.
And at one point or another, nobody seemed to stop them, you know, until the war broke out. But yeah, so I think the world is a little bit better off. I mean, I think it still has a long way to go. But you still have these people who pop up, you know, like I say, Ahmadinejad and some of these others who are always looking for a fight, it seems like. Yeah. But
so if I threw out a word, prejudice,
yeah.
how would you respond? What would you say about that?
I'm sure there's probably some prejudice in the world, not as much as there used to be. I think that's improved. I hope it has.
I mean, you grew up where blacks and whites were separate?
No, in
No?
Connecticut, no, we all went to school together.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I thought.
No, no. When I went to school, no, there were blacks
Okay.
in my class, and no, I think maybe down south, not here, maybe.
Right.
There, yeah, but no, there. Yeah, we all. Went
Did you know that it was an issue, that there were racial tensions and
Oh yeah.
inequalities?
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, in the South, yeah. But no, I had black kids in my class, and I just, you know, I just never looked at them as anybody different. They were just kids in the class. We all seemed to.
Right.
Yeah, I mean that's the way I always felt. But I don't know. Yeah. I think until everybody reaches that point to a certain degree, we're always going to have some tensions in the world, yeah. And it's too bad. I think it'd be a great world to live in if we could all just learn to respect one another.
Right.
Yeah. But I think that's still a little ways off.
Well, that's all I have, unless you have anything that you want to share. I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah. Did never happen before, probably, right?
No.
You want to interview me?
Me, little me. No, that was interesting. So what are you going to do with this report?
I don't know. Oh, what I do is I put it in my computer.
Yeah.
I have you know what YouTube is?
Yeah.
I have a YouTube page.
Okay.
And I do upload it to that, but it's not advertised. No one sees
see.
it but me, and occasionally I send a friend or a family member to take a look at it, give me some feedback. You're okay with that?
Oh, sure.
Yeah. But if Paramount Pictures wants to publish me, I'll call you and let you know and get your permission. I promise. And I'll autograph
okay,
the
fine.
video for you as well.
And let's see who could play my part. I'll have to pick out somebody world famous.
Right? Absolutely. So, but I really appreciate.
Oh,
I really appreciate you allowing me to do this.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's interesting. I think.
Yeah, I've learned.
So yeah, what have you learned?
What have I learned? First interview I did was a group of young people. One was 19, 21, and 38, and they were homeless.
Oh, gee.
They are train hoppers. They hop from train to train and travel the country.
Oh my gosh.
And there's this whole culture of train hoppers.
Right. But how? All right, train hoppers. How do they eat? How do they sleep?
Exactly. That's how this all started.
Yeah. How do they live?
I used to travel around Atlanta with my partner, and we'd see these people that didn't quite look homeless, but they didn't look like something was right. They always had dogs with them, and so I was coming out of a store, and one of them approached me for money, and told me it was her birthday, and I didn't have any. But I went to the car and I found someone. I went back, and I started asking her questions, and I was just fascinated. I just was completely fascinated. Those questions right there, questions you'd never ask,
right?
But you always want to know. And I interviewed them for like an hour on camera.
Oh.
And loved it. Just loved it, and showed it to some friends of mine and family members, and they were impressed with it. And so I'm looking to do something with it.
Oh.
And I don't know what.
Well, are there? Is there? What's the word I'm looking for? Is there some place that would